So I've been the only one healthy. These two.
Yeah, don't rub it in.
These two have these two have been very ill. It's been a hard time for these guys.
Yeah,
I've
so
had... You go first, because
I was gonna say-
because chronologically you've got ill first.
yeah, I suppose that's fair, isn't it? So listeners, you may remember a couple of episodes ago, we took the piss out of Dan for being nearly killed by a lasagna, and karma seems to have kicked me and Brandon in the ass. But I have been in and out of hospital and had surgery on my throat because I couldn't breathe or eat, and Brandon's decided to get COVID.
Yep, and I had COVID.
Yeah. So, and Brandon is still a little under the weather, so
Yeah,
if he
so
coughs
every now and then I might try to speak. You might see me just struggle to actually say a word, but that's just literally, it's just long COVID. It's just me, just have the chronic cough. Everything else is fine. I had literally every symptom of COVID apart from the shortness of breath. The only honestly, this is hilarious. I went into work on Monday and they've got like the lateral flow testing there, so I went and got a lateral flow. And then I went and had this is the bad move, right? I went and had like a break with some of my colleagues, and then I got like a text just over an hour later saying, "Oh yeah, you're positive. Like, go home and get a PCR test." I'm like, "Oh fuck's sake! I've just had like a tea break with all my work colleagues, and you just decide to tell me now." So I let them all know. I then have to pack all my stuff. I leave my packed lunch at work. That's the most depressing part. I literally had to abandon my own packed lunch at work. So I then had to get picked up from Leicester, taken back to Peterborough, arranged for a PCR test. And I had no symptoms at this moment in time. I had no symptoms, and then went and got the PCR test. And as the day goes on, just knowing the fact that I was positive just started to make me feel crap. Like, it's almost like, like that. Everyone knows this, but if you get a cut, the cut doesn't hurt until you see the cut, doesn't it?
Yeah.
generally.
It was the same thing with COVID. Like, once I knew I was positive, I was like, oh, well, I feel crap now. I think I've got a sore throat. I think I've got a cough coming on now. So yeah, so Monday I just had a sore throat and everything. Then it came to Tuesday, and then it started to kick off. So I really sore throat on the Tuesday. Started to develop a cough, and I've never had fever chills like it in my life. I don't think I've ever had fever chills. This is probably like the first time
Were they multiple?
I've ever had. Oh, it was so weird, mate. Like, imagine getting into a duvet. You're completely wrapped up in the duvet. You're still shivering.
Oh yeah.
But the moment you take the duvet off, you then start sweating. It's very weird. I then went to go toilet. I was like shivering while trying to piss. I was really struggling to aim because I was literally like, I was just vibrating so much just trying to piss. It was so weird. I then get back into bed. I then wake up. My bed is soaked because I've wet the bed from the shit amount of sweat I was producing. It was awful. I felt so gross. I literally think I was having to change my I was just going through so many clothes just from the sheer amount of sweat my body was producing at times. It was, yeah.
This is some lovely imagery for all our listeners out there. For sort of
and the way that I realised that I had no sense of smell, so I didn't realise this throughout the whole day. I just went into shower, started washing. I was just like, have I washed my hair? Have I actually used shower gel? Because I'm sniffing around. I'm like, I can't smell. I can't smell. Am I clean? I don't know. I then go and eat dinner. I'm just like, I can't taste the pizza. This is absolutely depressing. So jokingly aside of the fact that I had COVID, and honestly, like all the symptoms and everything, I think the one which made me depressed the most was the fact that I couldn't taste. Like, just having dinner and you're just like, I can't tell if I'm enjoying this.
So what you're telling us, Brandon, is you wouldn't know the difference between an egg and a lasagna.
No. Honestly, I was having a pizza. I can feel the textures and everything, like, like the stuffed crust. You can feel the cheese and you can feel like the crustiness of the crust. But I couldn't tell, taste-wise, what flavour of pizza it was. It was so bizarre. I've never ever been in a situation where I've completely lost a sense of smell and taste. It was such a strange, otherworldly experience.
Well, I've just got this imagery of your lunch at work being taken by your colleagues and sort of destroyed in an isolated explosion.
Yeah, it's like getting the bomb squad in, but except it's like the anti-COVID squad. Honestly, I was really looking forward to that pasta bake and that mince pie. But no, I left it at work.
It's all right. You won't be able to taste it anyway.
I know that's like the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, honestly, anytime that I get a cold or anything like that, and I get really sort of congested and sore throat, I always turn to Lemsip because it really does help to soothe my throat and everything. I was actually drinking Lemsip, and I was just like, I can't taste it. I can't smell the Lemsip. This is amazing. Like usually, if I drink Lemsip, I end up gagging, but I could have it, and no gag reflex at all. It was gone because I just literally couldn't taste it. It was such a strange experience. Such a strange experience.
There you go, everyone. Brandon's got no gag reflex. I'm sure you can have lots of fun with that.
Honestly, I can't taste any. Well, I could taste now. It's starting to return, but obviously, in terms of symptoms, all I've got at the moment, I've still got the cough, still got the sore, bloody sinuses, and that's really all I've got at the moment. But when I actually tested positive on the PCR, I then like a day or two later, I just with the family, I was just like, I'll just take another lateral flow test for shits and giggles. Now, usually if I take a lateral flow test, I'm just like, oh yeah, make sure you wait half an hour just to make sure you're not positive or anything. Jesus Christ, my red band was appearing so fast and so dark. I was like, wow, I'm definitely positive. Oh, that was such a strange experience, like with COVID. But you'd think having like 10 days isolation, I'd get up to a lot. But I just didn't. I really didn't.
No.
I was mainly I think I was on the PlayStation. What was I playing?
I think you probably feel very exhausted as well.
It wasn't really exhausted. Like I didn't feel like I still had my usual energy, but I just couldn't maintain a conversation because I just break out and cough, or I'm constantly having to go forwards and backwards to the toilet because I'm having to hydrate so much. I'm pissing for Britain, or I'm having to blow my nose, or I'm like having a coughing fit. Or I'm like making another hot drink, making another Lemsip. I was constantly moving around, like just trying to, keep myself hydrated and everything. Because that's what everyone recommends when you're ill, is to stay hydrated, have honey and lemon, and there you go. But just saying that, but like being at home for like 10 days straight, I think the only games I've just managed to play is I replayed Subnautica just because I really wanted to. Played a bit more Terraria.
Yeah.
And that's about it. I haven't done anything else in these 10 days.
And RuneScape, because we were playing it together at one point.
Yeah, yes. So even to be fair, I've barely played RuneScape. I think I've only done like a couple hours just in the 10 days I was off. I really just didn't do anything at all.
Well, there you go. That's Brandon's escapade with COVID.
Yes. Just a friendly reminder to everyone that this is actually a video game and movie podcast. We will get onto that shortly. And this is probably our longest opening section yet.
Probably.
This is the closest I've been to real Resident Evil.
Welcome to Victory Achieved podcast.
Shit.
Great fucking start.
You
I came out of nowhere.
Oh shit! What?
Take two.
No, it's another one.
Take three.
You take.
We will get there, guys. We promise.
All right, clear.
Welcome to Victory Achieved podcast, a video game podcast. I'm Dan, and I'm with Brandon and Chris. One's near enough dead from COVID. You didn't hear it.
I'm still alive.
You didn't hear it, but he just died of coughing.
You should. You need to keep it in for the real recording because that was hilarious.
Yeah. And now you said that, so we definitely have to.
Oh, fuck off.
So, I guess what's a good thing to start first for this? We've
your baking skills. That's a good thing to start off with.
No, I think because I've been preparing for a Warhammer tournament. I've not played much games, but I've very much consumed a lot of media myself, and I think maybe Chris included. All three of us, but I've definitely consumed a lot of media. I guess first thing first is Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. Yes, I've been enjoying that so far. So at time of recording, the last 2 episodes have yet to come out.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dan, what are your thoughts?
I'm really enjoying it. I think I say this about all the Marvel stuff. Every time it's a Marvel thing, I'm really enjoying it. But
Yeah, same.
I am. I don't know. In one way, I'm kind of weirdly finding this the most enjoyable TV show from Marvel so far. I don't know. I'm thinking back on the other ones, and I think all of them I really enjoyed while watching them. But when I think back, well, maybe I'll think about the same thing with Hawkeye. When I think back to them, I don't think they were as good as I think they were. Not that they were bad, but
Well, today, Falcon Winter Soldier's still been my favourite of the lot. But this is normally a good sign that Hawkeye's a good series. It's my folks are digging it, and
really?
they're always a bit sketchy about the Marvel stuff. They've watched all of them, but sometimes they don't have a higher opinion of it like I do. I normally have to explain what person, like if someone makes like a cameo appearance, I normally have to say, "Oh, that's that guy from that film." That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my folks can get a bit confused and are not as into it because they don't rewatch all the Marvel films like I do.
No, I think the whole series is going to finish on like a few days before Christmas, where I think the final episode comes out a few days the week Christmas is on, and I think in the show, it's right now it's 3 days before Christmas, so it should.
Which it will be when it wraps up because it will finish on the 22nd.
Yeah.
So yeah, perfect.
Yeah. No, I think it's been pretty good so far. I think it's felt more connected to a lot more stuff than maybe some of the other ones.
It's a little thing, but I really like what they've done with Hawkeye with like his hearing aid. Like
oh yeah,
because he's in the series he's very hard of hearing, and they went, oh, why has that happened? And then it just like there's like a little smash cut, like little montage of all like the explosions he's been in the films. He's like, nothing special. And it's like, well, that makes sense. He would be deaf, I suppose.
Yeah, and you also got Kate Bishop. I'm really enjoying her character. Haley Steinfeld, she's like doing really well for herself because she's also in Spider-Verse, so she got those 3 films now because they've announced.
Is she in the Spider-Verse? Oh, is she the voice actor for Spider-Gwen?
Yeah, she's Spider-Gwen.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and she's also in Bumblebee as well. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, she is, isn't she? Yeah. I was gonna say I was trying to picture where I've seen her before.
She's also in something else that I've watched, but I'll mention it in a bit. But yeah, she's doing really well for herself.
Awesome. Oh, that's good. Yeah, she's been playing a good role. I don't know anything about the character of Kate Bishop, but yeah, I'm digging it so far. And also it's got the actor who I actually can't remember the name of. One of the supposed villains of it is also a character from Better Call Saul.
Who's that one?
That's the one that's supposedly like Kate's stepdad.
Oh, okay.
He's like the he's not quite the head of the cartel, but he's like the sort of antagonist.
Jack.
Better Call Saul.
Jack.
Jack. That's it. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I've seen him in Better Call Saul. Unless he's in the later seasons.
Yeah, he was in like the last 2 series.
Okay, I've not seen him then.
But obviously they haven't finished the last series of that yet, so I want to see how that ends.
Yeah, I've not seen him in Better Call Saul.
Yeah. But that got us a bit more invested in the series, especially my folks. They really like Better Call Saul, and they sort of perked up when they see me. It's like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah, no, Hawkeye's really good. I can't really say much because of spoilers, because it's still. But the latest episode,
we don't know either.
The latest episode had like a few really interesting moments, and I was like, oh, I think I kind of knew it was going to happen, but then it didn't click until I saw it, and I was like, oh, oh yeah, of course this was going to happen. I don't know why I didn't think this was going to I forgot that this was going to happen, but they've actually done it and it was really cool. So
Yeah, you're probably thinking the same thing I have. Like
Yeah.
a certain character appears, and well, I was like thinking, oh, I wonder when they were going to show up.
But no, it's been good so far, but who knows what will happen.
Yeah, I just hope they don't ruin it with the last 2 episodes. I've failed to see that how they can, but
Well, no, who knows. But obviously, I will be seeing Spider-Man on the day it comes out as well.
oh yeah, it's on the 15th, so just like a week from now.
Yep. So
So I don't know if I'm going to get to see it before then. It's going to be really tight because it's so close to Christmas.
yeah,
But I'll see. I'll see.
well, all the tickets are booked, so I'll be going day of release because my mate was like, "I'm booking all the tickets for the day it comes out. Send me your money." I was like, "Here you go, boom." So
Well,
yeah.
I feel while we're on the subject of cinema, I mean, I went to see this only last week, and Dan's seen it as well.
Yes,
But I managed to go and see Ghostbusters Afterlife.
fantastic film.
And you know what? I'm a huge fan of Ghostbusters, like super huge. Like the film came out in, I believe, October 1984. I was born January 85, so I grew up with it. I've got a tattoo of the Ghostbusters logo on my shoulder, and I'm a huge fan. And I tell you what, throughout the entire film, I had a stupid dumb grin on my face, and I loved everything they did with it. Like, I don't think there's anything I could have expected better from it. Like, all things considered, I love the direction it went in.
It was really good.
Yeah, it's a massive thumbs up from me. I suppose there's a little bit of pandering, but to like what I'd say, like to the fanboys. But being a massive fanboy, yes, I loved it. I've like picked up on like every reference. Like for example, in like the house in the film, just in the background, they never like draw attention to it, but there's like a tower of books just in the background, which is like a reference to like the first film, because like they say, oh yes, no person would stack books like this. I was like, there's so many Easter eggs in it. I don't think a single one got past me. It is such a good film. I want to watch it again, like right now.
It is really good. I'm when I went into it, I knew one of the original 4 had passed away. I couldn't remember which. I didn't really know which one, but
So that was Harold Ramis, who plays Egon.
Yeah.
And the film is directed by his son.
Yes, it is. Like I knew he'd passed away, but like the whole story and like obviously it's Egon's granddaughter is the main character, and she was amazing. She had this really, I don't know what she had this really good comedy with the jokes that she like says, and they're kind of
very very dry humor.
Yeah,
she does act like Egon does in the film.
Yeah, and she's like really endearing, and I thought she was just a fantastic character.
Yeah, when I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, this character like could be so easy to screw up. Like you have like a know-it-all kid that could get right up your nose. It's so easy to do, but that didn't happen like, at all, not for a second.
No. You know, I really enjoyed it. I didn't really see. I think I saw maybe one trailer, but I think maybe the first one, but all the subsequent trailers I'd not seen. So, like after I've seen it, my mate was like, "Oh, in this trailer it had this," and I was like, "I'm quite glad I only watched the first one and that was it," because when it had like certain scenes, it made me go, oh, it's this. So I'm glad I didn't see the trailers that had some of those scenes in.
Yeah, I couldn't avoid them. I had them thrust upon me. So, but not that I was too bothered anyway, because I didn't want to consume anything. It's Ghostbusters. I love it so much. I wanted to see like every frame.
I think,
yeah.
I think my only gripe is it is a little bit slow to get moving, but I think at the same time it just builds on all the characters. It just takes a while for the plot to just kick into gear. I think that's the only thing. But
Yeah, maybe a little, but I liked all the build.
I think it's like it's so minor. I think you're not really gonna be that bothered.
Mm. I mean, I'd probably say as a nitpick, I could see where the plot was going. Like about halfway through, I could see like how it was gonna end up, but I wasn't disappointed with how it went.
No.
And can we just say for a second, like, again, Paul Rudd, can the man do any wrong? He's great in that film as well.
The world's most handsome man.
Yep. He stole my title, the bastard.
So, Brandon, you've been watching some stuff as well.
Well, I've barely been watching stuff, but I can't remember if I said this in the last episode we recorded because I think, timing wise, because of how ill we've been, is I've actually started my Bizarre Adventure and I finished part 1 of Jojo's. I can't believe it's taken me so long to watch that and finish it.
Okay, before we move on, so when you say part 1, is it proper part 1? So
as in the first 26 episodes?
Okay, so that is part 1 and part 2.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, season 1 is both parts 1 and 2.
Okay, because when I looked up on like Wikipedia and stuff like that, it said part 1 was Jonathan and Joseph together. That was part 1.
No. That's like I guess season 1, but part 1 is episode 1 to 9, and then part 2 is the rest of
Okay,
it.
in which case then I'll see parts 1 and 2 then.
I wanted to just clarify that when you said part 1, I was like, I think he means this. So
yeah. According to what it says on what does it actually say on Crunchyroll? How does it? Right, bear with me. I'm just looking at this because I want to see how Crunchyroll sort of lists them.
Crunchyroll just have like one season. That's all it will be.
Yeah, so season 1 is then part 1, part 2. Then it goes to Stardust Crusaders. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, in which case I've seen part 1 and 2. For argument's sake, yes.
Cool.
And I can't believe it's taken me so long to watch it. I can see why so many people really enjoy it. At the moment, I can't really see why the fandom is as hyped as it is. I really enjoy it. It's still like I'll give it a 10 out of 10 just because I fucking love the comedy in it. The comedy in it is just so over the top.
Yes.
And I just love how like it doesn't matter which Jojo it is, whether it's Jonathan or Joseph. They're like, oh, I've done this, but because I've done this, it does this. And even though you've done this, I'm just I just love how it sort of spirals and makes all these sort of really silly situations. I love it to it.
Yeah, I think for me part 1, so the Jonathan Joestar, I think that's the weakest part of JoJo's.
Yeah, it did seem like it was pacing wise, it seemed a bit odd.
Like it starts off really strong and then it just gets a bit, as soon as Dio becomes a vampire, it gets a bit like and then it finished, like the final episode is amazing when they're on the boat. That's amazing.
Because I did always wonder, based on that ending, like how do they turn it into like a part thing?
Yeah.
I've always just thought, because literally from an outsider's perspective, like not knowing anything about JoJo's, I thought, like any anime, JoJo is an main character and he's on a bizarre adventure. I didn't realize it's a generational thing.
Yes.
I thought that's a really nice touch. I've never ever seen an anime do that.
Yes. So, and then you have part 1 is Phantom Blood with Jonathan Joestar, and now you are on part 2, Battle Tendency, which is with Joseph Joestar.
Which is with Joseph, yeah. And I've honestly, I told you this as well, Dan, but as soon as I found out the voice actor for Joseph, I was just like, my boy, the same voice actor for Sakata Gintoki from Gintama. And it's the fact that it's that same comedy in JoJo's. It's the same as what it is in Gintama. I think that's what's really sort of kept me like tight with it. The comedy is so good. The action in it is great. The music, the drip, everything about it.
The drip.
Honestly, and the other thing as well, I didn't realize how old the series is.
Yes.
I did not realize it's from the 80s. Like the actual manga is from the 80s, but the anime only sort of came adapted within the past 9 years.
Well, the first animation for JoJo's was a OVA of Stardust Crusaders, which basically begins in like the last section of Stardust Crusaders, which all leads up to the end. So it's not like hardly anything of Stardust Crusaders. And that was the original thing, and then David Production, the animation studio, have just done basically doing each part as it comes. So obviously did part 1 and part 2 as the season 1. Stardust Crusaders is split into 2 seasons. Then you have part 4, which is just one massive season. And since part 4, it's just one ginormous season for each part. Which right now we're on part 6. But yeah, Battle Tendency.
I'm really looking forward to more of it.
Yeah, Battle Tendency is good. Joseph he's so different to Jonathan, and it's so funny, and he's so out there. You finished it like the final battle where he's like, "I'm gonna do my secret attack, running away."
Yeah, running away. Yeah, honestly, that was. As I said, I love a good comedy anime. And when it touches like it does in JoJo's, I can't put it down. But I still just can't believe 113 manga volumes, something like that. Let me just do the wiki quick.
But JoJo, they're all like compiled in like big volumes, so it's not as individual.
Or 130.
Right now, I think
131. Yeah, not 113. I got the 2 numbers the wrong way around. 131 volumes.
Well,
that's insane.
When I went to Forbidden Planet the other day, they had up to they had the first 2 big volumes of Part 5. So in Forbidden Planet, you can buy up to there. So
one thing I wish, like the inner sort of like, the inner weaving, I really just want to like actually pick up some of the manga of it. And just see what the art style is, like bearing in mind it's nearly 40 years old. I'd love to just see it and just
it's good. But...
And the other pointer is, I can't believe a lot of the memes which I've been exposed to are from JoJo's, and I've never freaking noticed. How have I never noticed all these memes are from JoJo's, or all these like sound effects and everything are from JoJo's? Like the to be continued thing, that's from JoJo's. I did not know that.
Yeah, because it's Roundabout by Yes, and then they use it as it's the ending song for season 1 of JoJo's.
Yeah,
and obviously, if you know the meme, that's yeah.
Even all the music from it, because I've always heard like the music and the sound effects in like gaming videos on YouTube. But I've just never, or even like all like the, like not the like annotations and stuff. I knew it was from JoJo, but I didn't realize just how embedded it is into JoJo's. Like it's literally everything they do. So I really enjoyed it.
Have you started Stardust Crusaders?
No, now that I'm going to be returning to work, because what I've done is I've tried to avoid watching as much stuff on Crunchyroll as possible.
Okay.
So that way, because at least that way I can download it and then I can watch it while I'm on the train offline. So literally, I've got a backlog of 2 weeks worth of anime on Crunchyroll to watch, which is I'm going to be saving for my now that I'm commuting back to work from tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll no, I was going to say something, but I'll save it for later.
No, just say it. What was you going to say?
Oh no, it's fine. I'll see part 6 of JoJo's is come out the other week, so I've only just started that this week, and it's made me go, oh, this is why I love JoJo's. This is part 6 is kind of, it's kind of very linked to part 3 compared to the previous 2 parts. So in a way you could watch part 1, 2 and 3 and then you could technically watch part 6 without watching 4 and 5. but we don't like part skippers. So, and part 4 and 5 are amazing. So, but part 6 has been really good so far. I'm only 5 episodes in, and they've released 12 episodes so far on Netflix, and then it actually airs on Japanese TV next year. So there won't be anything more. Yeah. So Netflix have released, or David Productions, in line with Netflix, have released the first 12 episodes early, and then it will actually air on Japanese TV next year, and then more will actually come out.
Oh wow!
So I watched the first 5, and it's that's kind of like for me. It feels like the best kind of introductory, kind of setting the scene and all that for part 6. Because where I've just got to the end of part of the 5th episode, feels like this is set up part 6. Now I feel like I know where this story is going to go going forward. I know what the whole point of this part is. So, if I'm not going to tell you who the Jojo is in part 6 because I don't want to, because of spoilers. But I'm really enjoying them. I'd heard they were interesting, and they are. So it's good so far.
Yes, that's been the main thing I've watched while I was being diseased. And then the other thing, which again has taken me so long to watch, is Beastars.
Yeah, I've mentioned
how
it
am I
before.
so bad at keeping up with some really, really good series? Like, can I just say that opening soundtrack and animation for Beastars is absolute banging. That is such a good opening.
It doesn't matter if you're a weeb or not. That opening is masterful. It's stop
so
animation,
good.
so stuff like they've actually made all the models and done a stop motion animation for this opening for this anime, and it's absolutely incredible.
It really every time because usually it's gonna sound really bad as an anime veteran, but most anime openings I will listen to it the first time and maybe the second time, and then most of the time I'll end up skipping it.
I'll at least watch it once.
Yeah, I always like to give the opening and ending at least one attempt, just get an idea for the soundtrack. But I can't skip the Beastar ones. It is too good to skip. I have to listen to it every time.
It is good.
Sadly, it is like one of very few series I have to do it. Same thing for Code Geass, which I've started. I have to watch that opening over and listen to it. I just can't help it.
Sadly, the season 2 opening and ending isn't as good for Beastars. It's still good, but not as good as the season 1.
Yeah, I'll be starting that next week once I've caught up to it with all my Crunchyroll stuff. So again, I'm looking forward to that.
Season 2 is good. I think I prefer season 1, but season 2 is still really good.
I think a lot of people have said season 1 of Beastars is better, but
I think I gave it like a 9 out of 10.
That's still pretty damn good.
I feel like I'm a bit more stingy with when I rate anime. I think I'm a bit harsher. So
I think what a lot of people need to realise is that when it comes to rating stuff, 5 is average, not 7. 5 is average. I think that's where a lot of people, myself, I'm guilty of it as well. If I think the show is okay, if I say, oh, that show is okay, I'll give it a 7. If it's okay, that's a bloody 5. It's average, so it's meant to be in the middle.
Yeah, I'm watching Platinum End right now, and I think that just, to me, gets worse every week, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I go on my anime list, and I see the rating, I'm like, I literally don't understand. I've stupidly done? I've read the ending because I was so.
Oh, why would you do that?
I was so interested in how Platinum End ended, so I read the ending, and it kind of made me go, "This has made it even worse." I I kind of really hate the end of it, but then at the same time, I'm like, because it's written by the Death Note authors, it kind of makes sense, but I kind of also really hate it. It's so in line with them. If you look at like how Death Note ends, it's so in line with that kind of ending, but I hate it as well. But no, Beastars is really good.
Yeah, so I think that's everything which I've been up to since I've been ill. Is just JoJo's and Beastars.
I guess for me, I have watched another animation, and that is Arcane. So,
Chris, have you seen Arcane?
Hmm?
I'll say, Chris, have you seen Arcane?
I haven't, no, but
Neither
all
have
I know
I.
is it's based on League of Legends, and I've never played League of Legends. It's not my thing.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people say good things about Arcane, but again, I've never played League. I never even watched a game of League. I don't even know what sort of gameplay it is. But a lot of
It
people
doesn't
are
interest
saying
me
that
at all.
Arcane is good, so I don't know. Is it someone from outside a League of Legends background? Is it something to consider or not?
I don't know. I've played League, but even saying that, I spoke to my mate, like one of my best mates, and I went to him. Oh, I've watched Arcane, and he went, "So have I." And I was like, "I know for a fact you've not played League." And he was like, "Oh, I loved Arcane," and we were just talking about Arcane for like a couple minutes, and we were just like, "Oh, it's so good." And like I said, he's never played. I know he's not played League unless he listens to this. And he's like, well, actually, but I don't think you need to know anything about League of Legends to enjoy Arcane. I think it establishes the world and the characters so well that you could go in blind and have a really good time. I think it's the most detailed animation I've ever seen.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
It's so detailed. It's kind of ridiculous.
How long is it?
10 episodes?
Is each episode an hour or is it 20 minutes?
They at a minimum about 40 minutes. Some are
Okay.
hour, but it's really good. And I mentioned Hayley Steinfeld earlier. She is in Arcane as well. I believe she plays one of the main two female characters. I can't remember which one. It might be V, the pink-haired girl. I'm not sure though. But yeah, it's great. I recommend it.
So, does it actually explain the world of League of Legends, or is it just sort of like its own entity sort of thing?
It doesn't look like the game is just a MOBA, so it's just like fight, do this. It's whatever. It's kind of just expanding the lore, but it's its own kind of story, and it just feels. It's just really engaging and just really enjoyable. As I said, I don't. It's not gonna. It's not gonna event. I don't see it eventually doing like, oh, now it's this from the game, because there's no story in League. In the actual gameplay, if you play a game of League, there's no story. But there's so many characters in League that I every time I played League, it's one of the reasons why I kind of, when I think about MOBAs, I prefer other MOBAs, because I just I'm not connected to any of the characters in League. After watching Arcane, I'd probably feel a bit different now. I probably wouldn't play League because it's so toxic, but I'd be more interested in playing quite a more variety of characters than I would have before.
Would you say though, because League of Legends has got like a sort of toxic fan base, like game wise, that will spill over into the anime fan base as well? I imagine it would.
I don't know. I literally don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
Okay. Also, Tony Dalton. Tony Dalton is the actor who's in Hawkeye and Better Call Saul. I had to Google it. Plays Lalo Salamanca. There we are. It was bugging me. I had to find out. Anyway, you want about anime, and obviously that's not my area of expertise. However, there is one I have watched back in the day, like a decade ago, and it's relevant again because there's a live-action series on Netflix that I know Dan has watched. And that, of course, is Bebop Cowboy. No, wait, the other one. Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah. I actually did rewatch...
Sorry, I was scatting, I was doing jazz.
I actually did rewatch the original anime before watching live action, and the original anime is just an absolute masterpiece. So
I've done it backwards. So I've watched the live action, bearing in mind I've not seen the original for, as I say, about a decade, and then started rewatching the anime.
Well, what do you think of the live action?
Well, as I say, bear in mind, like at the time, I hadn't seen it for ages, so I can't remember like the nuances and in and outs. But generally speaking, I did enjoy it. Like the opening episode, especially, I thought it was quite action packed. The set looked nice. I bought is it John Chow as Spike? I didn't even realize it was him in it until I put it on. I had absolutely no idea. It was the same actor as in like Harold and Kumar, Get the Munchies, the Star Trek as Sulu. I generally didn't know he was in it, but I think he did a great role. And I've got to say, hats off to the chap who plays Jet Black. He has got him down to a T. He sounds like him. He pretty much looks like him, apart from the like the skin tone change. Everything about him is like pretty much that character come to life. And I think it's fantastic. If I have one nitpick, and I think a lot of people have this one, it's the antagonist, Vicious. They sort of like fleshed him out a bit, but they kind of made him a sort of, I don't know, mummy's boy, I guess, rather than the more sort of over-the-top villain that you get in the sort of anime. Like, it's like they try to over-explain and at the same time kind of shoot himself in the foot and make him less vicious, I guess. Yeah, what do you think then? Is that the same?
Yeah, very similar. Like, I think in the live action, Spike and Jet, I think are played a bit, the casting and their portrayal is pretty much, I would say, it's kind of bang on actually.
Yeah.
Like, they are playing those characters. They feel like those characters.
Oh yeah, Jet especially. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, I think Jet more than Spike, but Faye, I'm a bit mixed with. There's some things I'm like, yeah, that is a bit Faye. Other times I'm like, that's not Faye. I like the actress. I think I don't think it was the casting. I think it's just what they've given her to work with. Just didn't feel like she was portraying Faye at times. Like there's one scene in particular, and I was like, that does not feel like Faye. I liked it, but not because she was playing Faye.
Do you want to elaborate on that? Or?
It's a lesbian scene.
Oh, I know the one you're on about.
Yeah.
I've rewatched that scene. No.
But like, she did not feel like Faye at times. But I thought the actress was good, but I didn't feel like she felt like Faye. Whereas
she did at parts. Like the example that jumps to my brain is like when she's at that sort of cocktail party and the terrorists arrive. I think she acted very much like Faye in that situation.
Yeah. But no, I think, like as you mentioned, like Vicious. In the words of the Godfather, what have you done to my beautiful boy? Like,
Yeah, I tell you what, as Cowboy Bebop goes, I think I prefer just like the sort of the style of just like the sort of villain of the week, like when they're actually doing the bounty hunting. I think I find that more entertaining. This is
yeah,
like rather than the overarching stories, like oh, we're gonna catch this guy this week, like we're gonna catch this arsehole this week, or try and fail. I kind of like that structure.
yeah.
I think it works well for it.
Like, I didn't really particularly like what they did with Vicious at all. Yeah, none of that really. I really didn't like it, especially what they did with Julia right at the end. I didn't like.
Yeah, they've fleshed her out a fair bit more than how she was in the anime.
I'm fine with them fleshing a lot of characters out more. I think I expected that, but I think the way they went with the story, no. But I think there were a lot of moments that they took from the anime that really worked, and a lot of storylines that I did enjoy seeing in live action form. And obviously they did added some other things, like they gave Jet a daughter, and that was an interesting different side that they added, and I thought actually did kind of work to kind of give him some maybe some normality. I quite like that. Like there's the bit where she has the recital. I thought that was absolutely brilliant.
You know what? Because it's been that long since I've seen this show, I took it as read that Jet already had a daughter. I didn't realise until I was rewatching. It's like, oh yeah, he doesn't, does he?
No. But I think one of the standouts, my favourite moments of the series is where his daughter's recital, and Jet does like a transmitter thing so that he can technically be there, and then Spike's just beating a whole lot of goons while Jet's just watching this recital, and it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, that's like the main crux of the episode. Is like, forget the villains, forget all the action that's going on. Will Jet see the recital? We need to know.
And he only
way more important.
like the glass breaks, and he's like, "Oh shit, yeah. What's going on?" It's like, "Oh yeah, beat them all up." I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it does a lot of things very well. There are a few slip-ups, but I wouldn't say it's like a betrayal or anything like that, like some people have, because I know it's had like very mixed sort of reports. Some people like really like what they've done, and they think they've adapted it quite well. And the other side of the internet seems to be like, "Oh no, this is horrible. What have you done? Like, you ruined it." But thankfully we live in a world where we have both series. If you don't like the live action one, don't watch it. Watch the original again. It's still there. It's still as good as it ever was.
The original is incredible. Like rewatching it again, like the soundtrack is. I've actually listened to the soundtrack at work, and it's such a good soundtrack. Like it, and even they adapt some of those songs into the live action, and I
like what they've done with the opening credits. They've just pretty much done it shot for shot, but live action rather than.
Like they're given even the theme. They're giving it like a little coat of paint, I guess you could say, and you can tell when you listen to it. But like there's like a certain track from the original that I think they have reused for the live action, and.
But it's the same composer, isn't it? That they came back for it.
Is it? I don't know.
Yep, exactly the same one. Same one.
I think it's called Space Lion. I think that's in the live action. I might be wrong, but that track is fantastic. I think it's like 7 minutes long if you actually listen to it on its own. But yeah, it's a fantastic song.
I mean, I don't really like listen to like jazz or funk or anything like that, but it's one of those intros like when Netflix gives you the little option to like skip intro, and I'm thinking, why the fuck would I want to click that?
Like,
I want to listen to Tank, damn it! No,
yeah, Tank by Seatbelts, such a good opening.
Yeah, yeah, for me, it's like the same thing as like same example, like when Marvel do their little like 30-second like tunes.
I
Like
knew you were gonna
I'm
say
not
that.
skipping that. I'm watching that every time. I don't care. I get goosebumps listening to
I knew you were gonna say that.
it. It does though. It sets it up. It gets me in the mood for it. But, yeah, so Cowboy Bebop for me, it's a recommendation.
I would say so too.
Yeah, I mean, there is one character. I don't want to spoil it, but one character has been pretty much omitted, and I don't know if they'll like be in the second series. If they've greenlit one, I don't know without looking. But I do wonder how it will work for live action. I think it can be very, very, very easily messed up because in a cartoon like anime, it works, but live action, don't know. I can see why they haven't been put in the first series. I think it may have been like massively off-putting to new viewers.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And how can we not forget Iron? Iron is just amazing.
It's a doggo, of course. It's
corgi.
the best doggo. Every doggo is the best doggo.
Iron
Yes,
is,
I want 7.
Iron is great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I spoke about. I misspoke earlier. I said like Jet got the character nailed down. No bollocks. That dog did Iron perfectly. Best actor in the entire
I was going to
series.
say, I've got an unholy confession to make.
Do tell.
Well, I've not even seen the anime of Cowboy Bebop. Again,
what?
it's one.
Look,
I am
look,
so
look,
bad when it
Brandon,
comes to
Brandon,
classics.
Brandon. You watch anime. I don't watch anime. I've watched Cowboy Bebop. What's
Look.
going on?
I told Dan this I think it was a couple months ago. I said that during December, I need to catch up on some of the classics and actually get up to date with stuff. So
Yes, you damn well.
hence I've started Code Geass because that slipped under my radar for a while. I've done Jojo's, which is a modern day classic. And yeah, so there was a couple others on the list. Cowboy Bebop was.
Akira? Have you watched Akira?
No.
What?
Well, the film is on Netflix, so there you go.
Go and do that.
You-
Go home and think about what you've done, Brandon.
He's like,
I am
I'm
at
already
home. I've been home
Well,
for
just
10
think
days.
about what you've done then.
Yeah, I've got so many classic stuff which I just have to get around to watch. But again, this is just a problem. It's something for just anime in general. It's so hard for streaming services to actually have everything you want.
Yeah.
Right. There's one little thing I want to raise, and I was going to say it when you started talking about JoJo. Right. Why is it so difficult to get into certain series? Why do they feel the need to like rename things like all the time? So instead of like episode, they call it chapters or books of or whatever. Phases. It's just like, no, which one's episode fucking 1?
So have you ever heard of the Fate series then?
Anyway, let's move on, Brandon. Let's move on, Brandon.
Yeah.
Do not start this. Let me direct you to Gigut's video on the Fate series. Now we're done. Boom.
That's why I mentioned it. That's literally the reason why I mentioned it.
That video is amazing, but still. So
Yeah, I can understand their frustration.
Yeah.
All right. I have one more little film I want to talk about. Although I do feel this episode has basically just been films and series. We should probably talk about games at some point. But there's one more I want to talk about because
Don't worry.
Really pissed me off.
After this, I've got one more thing, and then we can actually, from that, move into games.
Okay. So, the last film I want to talk about, because this is the thing, because I've been like ill and had surgery, I've had a lot of time to watch things because I haven't been able to do much else. So I thought, hey, you know a series that I really like but I haven't watched in ages? I really like the Saw series. I mean, okay,
not what I thought you were gonna say.
No, they are like gore porn, but I thought I'd watch the newest edition, which came on Amazon Prime. And that one, of course, is Spiral. Now, I have many issues with Spiral. The first of them being the whole thing. What the fuck was that? So, So, I'll just give you the plot summary of Spiral right here and now. So, put two people in a room, both of them incredibly unlikable. One of them starts swearing and does a product placement. The other character does a product placement and then starts swearing. And then, to fill it out for like 90 minutes, you just put in a plot that could be written by a 5-year-old in 2 minutes, and like a 3-year-old could work out. And but then the director thought, hey, you know what will make things better? Why don't we just put the Saw theme at the end and hope that everyone buys it? And it's like, oh, it's fine. Look, at the ending conclusion, we put the theme on, so everything's okay. And then just to cement it home, over the credits, put the theme on again, like immediately after, but a slight remix of it. It's like, oh, we fucked up real royal, so have the theme twice. Hope for goodness. And it's got Samuel L. Jackson in it, and I love that man. But what happened? What happened? That film's a train wreck. No, avoid. Do the opposite of watching Cowboy Bebop to Spiral. Just don't. No. Oh no, it just pissed me off. It shouldn't have that effect on me. I feel if you're going to torture someone in a horrific way, just make them watch Spiral on repeat until they decide to kill themselves. Yeah, not a recommendation. Yeah, people may feel different about that, but that's how I felt the entire thing. I was just getting more and more wound up watching it as it went on.
Well,
what the hell was that?
How about a better film, Venom 2?
Oh yes, one I also watched only a couple of days ago. Frankly, yeah. Well, since I'm still nattering away, Venom 2 I liked. Although for me it felt more like a sort of filler film. It didn't feel like anything like grandiose happened. It was just 90 minutes of, well, carnage really.
Yeah, pretty much.
It had a lot more comedy in it than the first one, I feel. And I think that comes from Andy Serkis directing it.
He directed the first one as well.
Did he?
Yeah.
I thought it's just... Oh, I didn't realise that. Okay, fair enough. But I thought it was very short and to the point. There wasn't like any fat that could be trimmed. It's just like this scene happens and the next one happens and it all makes sense and everyone's had a few laughs, some good action scenes. Yeah, when it's all done and dusted and you got like the post-credit scenes to which I think everyone just sort of went, everything was pretty much happy after that. It's like, oh, it wasn't the best film like Marvel have put out, like Marvel Sony, but you know, it's 90 minutes. It's one of those switch your brain off and just can enjoy it. Just watch Woody Harrelson be a complete nutcase for 90 minutes. And what more do you want?
It was like, for me, it was like watching Woody Harrelson go, you know, I was in that film Natural Born Killers many, many years ago. Let's
do that again.
Let's do that again, but with as a supervillain. It's like, fucking
as a symbiotic parasite.
No, I thought it. I personally preferred it over the first one. I had problems with the first one, and for me, they were all fixed in Venom 2, and I really enjoyed Venom 2. Pretty much everything you said, I pretty much agree with. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the first film at the cinema. The second one I've just seen on the smaller screen, so it probably didn't have like the same impact. And I might need a rewatch of it before I sort of make the comparison before the first one, which I've seen several times. So I do like the first one. I like it just fine. I think it's a good film. But it's been a while since I've watched it. But the second one was just dumb fun, and I got a kick out of it. Just don't overthink it. Just go in and think, you know what? Today I just want to watch Carnage.
Yeah.
And you'll have a good time.
Yeah. Don't
Sorry,
die,
I'm
Brandon.
doing the Brendan and coughing.
Don't die.
I was literally about to say, don't you start.
Oh shit! Don't die, Chris.
Oh no, it's transmittable through headsets.
So I guess
I've not got my mask on. That's what I was doing. Shit.
I finished it last week, but I've been binging. I started it. I think I started it just before lockdown, or maybe the year before lockdown in 2019. I think I started it 2019 when actually started, and then I maybe listened to an episode or two, and then I stopped, and then I listened to a couple, and then I was listening to Trash Taste podcast, and I thought I'll finish this, and then I'll come back to this. So I've been listening, and I finished it last week, a D&D podcast called Dungeons and Daddies.
This could go in a very shady direction very quickly. So
not a BDSM podcast. Not a BDSM podcast. Not a BDSM podcast.
Not yet, at least, anyone.
They say it every time.
Although I just have been talking about torture porn films and Woody Harrelson, so it could very, very quickly go into me.
This D&D podcast is amazing. One I did vaguely mention it in our chat, and one of the reasons why I wanted to bring it up is the DM. So the DM, Chris, you've experienced his work before, because
I have.
Yes, but he has written Borderlands 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I rather like that game.
When I realised that, when I found out, because I was like, what have these guys done before? Have they done anything before? And I was like, or are they just 5 random people who've just done a D&D podcast and it's somehow got big? Have they actually done big things? And like, some of them have. Some are like small notable TV shows or films. But like I said, DM, he wrote Borderlands 2, and you can definitely tell when he, like, a lot of his characters he makes up for the campaign, you can see like his comedy and the way he writes characters. You can kind of see that. You can see like that he definitely wrote Borderlands 2. Like, there's a character who's just all about scamming people, and it feels like it's like he's just like, it feels like it's an extension of Borderlands 2. It just felt like I was really enjoying a D&D campaign that had the exact same comedy as Borderlands 2, and it was so fun.
So it's not a D&D podcast at all. It's a B&B one, Bunkers and Badasses. And I really hope he made the. I really hope he made the character you get to fight, Mr. Skeleton Bony Pants guy.
There's just like so many little things that are just so funny about it. But it was such a good experience. It has a really good, I guess, story. They managed to craft a really good story to this campaign with like highs and lows, character development. And it was just a really good experience, and it finished their first season, or the first campaign finished maybe a month. So it's only just finished, and like this week they've just finished their like mid-season campaign, and I think it'll be next year they'll start season 2, which will carry on from like campaign 1, but with like a fresh set of characters. But then like returning characters will still be there. But like I said, because when I realised it was the writer of Borderlands 2, I felt more strong. I had more of a connection to it all than I had before, and so yeah, it's really good. Like, each episode is about an hour long, so it's not like, if you know about Critical Role, their episodes are like 4 hours long. So this is a lot more digestible.
Right, so again, the name of that podcast was Borderlands Daddies, yeah.
Dungeons and Daddies. Not a BDSM podcast.
For shame.
But no, it's really good. But I guess actually going into games now.
Oh, about downtime. Games on the gaming podcast.
About downtime. I thought it'd be good to talk about, since it's getting close to Christmas now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, naughty and nice people.
Definitely naughty.
Yeah. I thought it'd be good to talk about maybe Christmas in games, or just your favourite snowy games or Christmas moments. And I thought a fantastic one coming from talking about that podcast is Borderlands 2.
Now, which snowy section? Because there's a few of them in Borderlands 2.
I'm talking about the DLC in Borderlands 2. The Christmas DLC in Borderlands 2.
I know the one.
What was it? Marcus's Mercenary Day. Which is
That's
just
the one.
basically Christmas, but for bandits.
Don't you fight a giant snowman as a boss?
Yeah,
like
you
a raid
do.
Boss?
You do.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what he's called, but it's just a... Yeah, and like there's a whole lot of snowmen, and when you kill them, I think they just say random stuff, and I know one of the things they say is like, "I'm melting."
Yeah. Oh, well, aren't the raiders in that just like wearing Santa hats and elf hats?
Yeah, I think they wear like is it like one of those like snowy hats? I don't know what they're called, but
instead of buzzsaws, do they have like candy canes?
yeah, I think they do.
Yeah.
I think that's like one I can think of. I'm not. What about you guys?
Brandon's been quiet for a while.
Come
Do you
on,
want to have the
Brandon.
next one?
Well, if we're going to be talking about just complete like wintry sort of areas in games, obviously the first one that comes to my mind is Subnautica Below Zero.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, because like literally the entire premise of the game is you're basically in like the Arctic area of planet. I can't remember the name of it. It's like B4545B or something like that. I can never remember the actual name of the planet off the top of my head. But yeah, if we're talking specifically about wintry areas, that whole game is based on a wintry area. And you know, I've already said this a couple of times, like why Subnautica holds such a special place in my heart. It's just the world building is fantastic. The base building aspect of it is fantastic. The exploration is fantastic. So I'd actually probably go too far as say that in terms of any sort of wintry area of any game I've ever played, I think Subnautica Below Zero is my all-time favorite in terms of like a wintry section of a game.
I must imagine doing your Christmas shopping on a water planet must be a right nightmare. There's not a HMV in sight.
No, but there's like underground bases with a nuclear reactor.
Merry Christmas! You got radiation poisoning.
And a super contagious bacteria species.
Is that where you got it from?
Must have been. Speaking of which, right, just off topic, Chris, have you played Below Zero yet?
I've had a quick dabble on it. Like I downloaded it and I've literally played it for like 20 minutes, but I've been so busy and so distracted with streaming, I've just not had time to get back to it.
Okay, what's your first thoughts on the first 20 minutes?
Well, it seems to play a lot like the first one, but with a bit more polish. But that's pretty much all I can say about it at this time.
Yeah, that's literally my first few minutes of exposure to Below Zero. That's literally what I thought as well. It plays a lot smoother.
Yeah, I know there's a mechanic where you sort of freeze when you're on the surface, but it's negated when you're in the water.
Yeah, and you can get clothes and stuff to negate it anyway. Which
I think is a bit weird. Surely being frozen to fuck on the surface and then jumping into icy cold water, surely that will only exacerbate things.
Well, physics, ice is a lower temperature than water.
Well, yes, but you've been on the ice and then jumping into cold water. It can't help. It's not going to help you. It's not going to stop you from freezing.
I can see like the aspect of it, yeah, because anytime like you see it like survival fields, like if you fall into water, your first instinct is to just get out and take your wet clothes off.
Yeah, panic. But you normally, if you fall into freezing water, your heart pretty much stops instantaneously.
Yeah, but it's game logic, isn't it?
Yeah, guys, to all your listeners out there, don't try this hypothesis. Don't go to a frozen landscape and then jump into freezing water to see if this works. It's not recommended. You will have a very bad Christmas. Well, I suppose it's my pick then. I've had a couple I was thinking of. I was thinking more of like just like a stage and then another one which is like an entire game. So the one that jumps to me, like for I suppose for like the festive one, like the winter thing, it'll be the old game James Pond 2 RoboCod, where the entire thing is set at the North Pole in Santa's workshop. And I always remember this. I always remember this. There's at the very start of the game, before you even go to a level, there's like 5 items on like a rooftop, and if you collect them in the correct order, you get invincibility. And the items are a cape, a hammer, the earth like a globe, an apple, and a tap. Which, if you collect it in that order, the first letter of each word spells cheat, and if you do that, you're invincible for 10 minutes. But yeah, I'm not a festive guy at all, but I have a very soft spot for that game. From playing it when I was a kid. Always with the cheats on. I don't think I've ever played it legitimately. Once I knew that. It's also sponsored by the Penguin bars as well. So that's something.
I think an obvious one that I think whenever I play it always makes me think of winter is just Skyrim, just because.
Oh yeah,
there's just so much snow in that game.
Yeah, Winterhold especially, I guess.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, my favourite part of that whole ice area is just fighting. Is it Hawkers?
Yes.
Because you can level up quite fast, like early game, just fighting them because they hardly put up a fight and they're so slow. So you can just sit there like spamming flames and just letting them hit you for a bit just to like heal yourself up. They are very easy to fight. So yeah, there's a top tip for you guys. If you're playing Skyrim and want to level up fast, go fight some Hawkers straight off the bat. You'll level up in no time.
And then shit yourself when you're all the way up to find the greybeards and you find that troll.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh hello, oh I appear to have died. Whoops.
Yeah, that was perilous.
Yeah,
like going up there is like just fresh out of helping Jarl Balgruuf, and he's like, oh yeah, go see the greybeards because you heard their voice after that dragon. You go there, you managed to beat a dragon, but the moment you see this troll, you're gone. That's it, dead, kaput.
And then you think, oh, I've got this guy on the ropes. Wait a minute.
No, he heals more than damage you do.
The fuck? No. What a bastard. But I do have a couple of other ones I can give an honourable mention to. If we're talking just like stages, I think I've got to go with Ice Cap Zone from Sonic 3. Because that music is banging, and it's just a fun level anyway. Just that one in general. And also, I suppose about a shout out to both snow levels in Mario 64.
Oh yeah.
Because I know, just me saying that has put that music in your head.
Well, you'll see, one of you, or maybe both of you, definitely not me, may have done something naughty to a penguin.
What, chucked it off a cliff?
Maybe.
Everybody's done that.
I've not done
that once.
The first thing. Yeah, especially when the penguin goes, oh, that's not my baby. So you're like, right, well, let's get rid of him then. What good are you, mate?
Yeet him over. Time. I don't like the second one. I don't
here's a quick thought, sorry. If you throw the penguin off the stage, does it do like what Mario does and appear at the other side of the painting? So now there's just a penguin wandering around Peach's castle, very confused and scared.
I don't like the second ice level. I think that one's such a pain.
I actually don't prefer the second one. I think the first one's more of a pain, just like navigating up.
I think they're both frustrating, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. They've got some good gimmicks in them, but it does make me think, and I don't want to raise this question. Does anyone in the universe like ice physics in game?
No,
that can't be right.
Not really.
Which fucking sadist likes them?
Yeah. It's just the fact that anytime you try to walk over like an icy surface and your character just slips, and you're just trying to control like the motion when you're on an icy surface, that can be frustrating, especially if it's like a ridiculous one where even just slightly moving on the ice makes your character go like 10 foot further than where it should be, even though you just did one footstep.
Yeah, so here's a note to all game developers. Stop putting ice physics in platformers, you bastards. Or, if you do, at least make the platforms wide enough to account for it. There's nothing less fun than trying to deal with ice physics on very tiny, thin platforms. Stop it at once. It's not fun. Ask yourself, is this fun? If the answer is no, do not put it in your game. Ice physics are not fun. Put it in the bin with fishing minigames. Just no. That's my little soapbox rant. I'll calm down now. Sorry, I'm still thinking about Spiral and I'm still pissed off.
Although on the topic of, if we're just going to say like snowy areas on games, I do have a soft spot for. It's not really a snow. Like, well, I guess it is a snow area, but you know, like ones on just like Spyro.
I was thinking that myself, actually.
I mean, the ice physics on some of the Spyro ones are awful, but
yeah,
they're still enjoyable.
Yes.
So yeah, I'd say like in Spyro, like Year of the Dragon, like the ice level there was I loved it a bit.
Yeah, there's two of them.
But I just loved helping Doug with the cannons.
You also got the one in the world after where you get an ice breath.
Oh yeah. I used to like like when you go into that solar tower and you just aim at things.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can just aim it at these Rhinox who are just showing off their asses, or you can just point them at the pigs and just see the pigs just run in circles.
And then just see
it is quite sadistic, but yeah.
Yeah. You just kill you like melt the snowmen.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. I was thinking of Penala Drifts from Metroid Prime.
I knew that were coming.
If you know me and Metroid, I'm gonna try and. I have such a massive fondness for Metroid Prime. I'm gonna try and mention it somehow. That area is magnificent. The atmosphere, the music, the design. It's just there. It's just I just think Metroid Prime is 10 out of 10. Anyway, so.
You know what? This is making me feel bad because I'm currently staring at my Metroid Dread mouse mat and my Metroid Dread poster I've got on the wall, which I thought would make a good background for my streams, and I still haven't finished it yet. I've had it weeks.
Neither.
I've got so far like right until the end, and I need to do like the victory lap to get all the items that I've missed, and I just haven't been asked to get around to it. Instead, I accidentally picked up a Ocarina of Time on the 3DS. And oddly enough, today I finished the Ice Cave. So there you go. That's crowbar one more in. I'm not going to say it's a good level, but it's got snow in it, so it counts.
But
there we are.
You know what is a good Zelda dungeon with snow and ice? From the one from Twilight Princess.
Oh, the mansion.
Oh yeah.
We get the ball and chain.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's been ages since I've played Twilight Princess, so I can't remember how it really goes.
It's just.
I think it's quite easy to navigate though.
Yeah, it's just such a different dungeon where it's just like, get this ingredient for the soup. Get this ingredient for the soup. You just make the soup better, and then it's just like, oh, now I basically got to fight the Yeti's wife. Oh shit. Spoilers for anyone who's actually going to play that old game.
Say I've never played it.
Spoilers, Brandon. There you go.
I'm pretty sure nobody is upset when I thought, oh no, I love Zelda, but I didn't realise you had to fight the Yeti's wife. Fuck. Ruined it forever.
Have you not played Twilight Princess?
No, the only Zelda games I've played is 1, 2, Ocarina, Majora's and Wind Waker, and the first little bit of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
So I've still got a load to play.
I suppose the worst part of Link to the Past is the ice dungeon.
Yeah, it is.
It's too damn big.
Yeah, I hate that.
Although, if you play the randomizer on it, and you get like the Cane of Samara to make blocks, you can finish that dungeon much quicker.
I bet.
Yeah. Alright. On the subject of ice and snow, I think we need to ask this question as well. What's everyone's favourite ice-type Pokemon?
I think I actually have an answer for this. I'll let,
Yeah.
let Brandon.
I was to say,
I
would
do have
mine
an
be really
answer.
shameful to be painfully obvious?
It's probably the same as mine then. Go on.
Lapras.
Okay, no, not the same as mine.
Actually, I need to
I
Google
know.
more because the only reason why Lapras is the first one to come to mind is because obviously I'm doing my Pokemon Nuzlocke and I'm only up to game 2. Speaking of which, I actually failed the freaking Nuzlocke.
No.
I actually died, and it wasn't even Whitney that did it.
Oh, really?
No, it was the policeman next to the care center, to the daycare.
Oh, the one with the Growlithe.
Yeah, the one with the Growlithe. He just completely wiped out my whole team. And
bastard.
I had my Chikorita, literally the Growlithe was one hit away. It was either Chikorita, no, it would have been a Bayleaf at the time, just kept missing. At least 6 attacks in a row missed. I was like, oh my god, this RNG sucks. But yeah, I actually failed by freaking Nuzlocke.
That's why I always think, like, if you're going to do a Nuzlocke, it's probably safest you go with, like, the fire type one first, because they're quite hard to come across, like, early game.
Yeah, I did that obviously on Gen 1 because, soft spot for Charizard. So I thought, okay, everyone like craps on Chikorita in Gen 2, so I thought, okay, I'll start on Chikorita. But it wasn't even Chikorita's fault I died. It was just everything else that happened. Like, Chikorita was fine.
Well,
still, police brutality still exists in the Pokemon universe. That's, let's not dwell on that. Dan, what was yours?
I didn't say, so its first 2 evolved forms are from Gen 2. But its final evolved form, which is probably my favourite, is not from Gen 2. It's from Gen 4. And it is Mamoswine.
Really?
Yeah, I think Mamoswine is so cool.
Yeah.
I'll say, if I've got a backup, it's maybe going to be Weevil. If anything.
Weevil's never... I don't know, I like Sneasel, but I felt Sneasel felt so redundant. And I don't like Weavil's design. There's something about it that I don't like. That's just me, but...
Well, I've got to be like Captain Obvious because I'm a Gen 1er till I die. It's Articuno. Of course, it's fucking Articuno. He's a big ice bird. What more do you want?
About Dugong.
Yeah, Dugong's all right.
When it's in the movie, he's like, gone.
He's gone.
Oh no, the best line in the second film is the Slowking. I could use pants.
I forget he talks.
Classic cinema. Although, if I had to pick a runner-up, I hope I've got the right name. Is it Glalie? Like the big ice.
Yeah.
Glalie kind of cool.
Yeah. I think actually he's a bit shit, but he looks a bit cool. He looks a bit menacing. And I like Pokemon who look a bit more intimidating.
Yeah, I think Glalie looks cool, but I think in practicality, it's not actually that great. But Glalie looks really cool.
But I think we've already established that like ice is like the worst type in the entire.
Yeah, ice is the worst.
There's too many weaknesses.
It is just weak to so much, and it's backed up by the fact that it can actually deal with one of the strongest elements. But but the dragon types, pretty much all of them can learn fire attacks anyway.
Yeah.
Yep. And they're not that common. So I think like the worst typing like in any game for what I can think of is like a Bomber Snow, like the grass ice type. He's fucked no matter what you put in.
Snow and Alolan Sandshrew/Sandslash. They're like the worst two.
Although I do like the design of Alolan Sandslash.
Ice Glass, Ice and Grass, and then Ice and Steel. Awful typings. So bad. Yeah.
Dear me.
Like Ice, both of them are like, I think it's times 8 weak to fire or something like that. It's ridiculous. Actually ridiculous.
It's no. Ice, not even once.
But I know what you mean with Alolan Sandslash. It basically is Sonic.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even think that, but you're right.
Sonic.
He does look pointy, and he looks like he wants to go fast. And frankly, he needs to because he's going to get decimated by everything. So he needs to run like fuck away from everything. Oh, bless.
Although I am now looking at more of the ice Pokemon. Frostlass is pretty cool looking.
Frostlass is cool, yeah.
Yeah, that's the same evolution line as Glalie.
Yeah, it's but only when it's female.
Yeah, that's right.
So you got Glaceon, but it's Eevee evolution. They kind of all look good anyway.
Does anyone in the right mind like Vanilla or Vanillish?
No.
I think everyone's seeing that and go, what the fuck is that?
That's one of the times where there's several Pokemon like it where they just look like an object. I'm just like, really?
Yeah, like Klefki, that's another one. Do you know?
Yeah.
Are you taking the piss, Game Freak?
Yeah, that's literally like what I mean. You just see some of these Pokemon, and it's like what the freaking hell are you meant to be?
But then you have
there's some really cool designs. Like they get like a load of detail, like Lullaby. That design in that is fantastic. Like it sort of nappy is like a skull, and it's a vulture. So yeah. That makes sense. That's a really good design. And then other times you have things like Klefki where you're thinking the designers they're just like having an off day or hungover. They were just like looking at stuff in the office and go, oh, stapler, that'll do. That's a steel type. Boom, job done. Time to go home.
I'm just on Bulbapedia now. I'm just literally going to go through and just skim past just what some of these just ridiculous looking Pokemon.
You know what's a few other good ice Pokemon are Alolan Ninetales. That's really cool. Where is it? But well, both Alolan Vulpix and Ninetales both look really cool. Well, where is it? I just saw it. You got Walrein and Feel. Feel's so cute.
Yeah, I do like Sphere. If anything, I like Sphere and his evolution, but I'm not really hot on his final evolutions. Whirlwind. I think that lets it down a bit.
I think you kind of have to like Galarian Darmanitan just because he's basically got a snowy afro.
That design doesn't really do much for me. I mean, because I'm like a Gen 1er, I've always been in that mindset. It's like, oh, all the new Pokemon look dumb, and then someone says, yeah, but you had like Mr. Mime in Gen 1, which I normally just go, shut up. And of course, Mr. Mime's evolution is a nice type as well. So
Mr. Rhyme.
Mr. Rhyme, who looks like Charlie Chaplin.
He does.
which I suppose is fair play. Slapstick. It makes sense.
I wonder if he would win in a Charlie Chaplin lookalike competition.
And come first rather than the actual Charlie Chaplin, who came second in a lookalike competition, which is a true fact. I mean, you can try it. Hey, would that mean in the Pokemon universe, Ditto would come number one in that contest? Mr. Rhymes is sat there like, what the hell, bro?
Technically, I don't know. There's sometimes when they say about with Ditto is when it transforms, it still has the Ditto face.
Yeah, it still has. Yeah, just imagine Charlie Chaplin with Ditto's face.
I don't know how true that is though, because I see different things. I think in game they look exactly.
I think it's just
like...
Ash's. It's just Ash's Ditto.
Ash never had a Ditto.
Well, you know, I mean, not Ash's Ditto, but you know from the anime, the one he had to deal with.
Yeah.
Hang on a moment. I've just noticed we've been talking about ice levels, and we didn't even acknowledge the series the show is named after. What about Ilium Lois or Irrefill the Boreal Valley? You know, the little desktop I'm staring at.
Yeah.
That's a nice level. How the fuck did we not mention those?
Let me just have a quick think about that.
I was thinking the other day, I was like, is there any ice levels in Dark Souls 1? Oh, wait, Painted World.
Yeah,
the Painted Worlds. You've got the DLC from Dark Souls 3, which, oh my god, that was so badass.
Yeah.
Although you can... badass.
Although, I've replayed Dark Souls 3 many times, even like doing challenge runs. And honestly, the first DLC for Dark Souls, you can get through pretty quickly.
Yeah, it is a very short DLC.
Yeah, I mean, compared to everything else. And it's only got 2 bosses as well, which I always thought was a bit of a letdown. It's like,
Speaking of which, while on the topic of ice levels, we've mentioned this before, but that freaking ice level from Dark Souls 2 DLC
Fuck
with
that.
the reindeers.
Oh,
Fuck that.
reindeer fuckland. Hell no. No. No! No.
That was
Also, it's Dark Souls, so of course we love it. We love it, but we
such
hate
a
it.
pain.
Yeah, it's one of those ones like if ever I replay Dark Souls 2, which is quite often, I'll probably get to that point. I'll probably have like one sprint through the area and then get killed once and go, yeah, that's enough of that. Let's carry on the rest of the DLC. Just ignore that part. There's only 2 cats at the end anyway, so fuck them. They can live.
Yeah, you go through all that effort just trying to, take on just the pets.
Yay, a reskin boss.
Just Zug and Lug.
Yeah, Sodom. We killed the other kitty. That's enough. That's enough cat murder for one game.
But yeah, I'd say Painted World from Dark Souls 3, of the Dark Souls levels, I think that's maybe my favourite ice level from the Dark Souls. But another thing as well, Chris, is you recently played Sekiro. What about the ice areas in Sekiro?
A lot of it's quite snowy.
But there's like the it's like the gun fort, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, I actually think it's a bit of a pain in the arse because it's all full of like ranged enemies, and as soon as you step into like the area, if you don't know what you're doing, you just get like shot down immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes if you're lucky, you can just sort of like just scrape by if you just tank it and time your heals properly, but it's a bit touch and go.
Yeah.
It was one of the things when I did my first playthrough of it. I got to that point and just like kept dying immediately, and I thought, well, clearly I must do something and come back to this area later. You know, like the giant in Dark Souls, like 3, where like you talk to him and he starts throwing shit at you. I thought it would be like a case of that, but it isn't. It's like, no, you just got to like time it so you don't die. So, yeah.
But a lot of Sekiro, it has a lot of snow in it anyway, like especially the early areas.
A lot of it.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say for one thing with Sekiro, a lot of areas look a bit samey, especially in like the early game. It does open up massively, but it's like much later on the things become more colourful.
I suppose it's because they've done it where it's just based around just Ashina Castle.
Yeah.
They are sort of limited in sort of how extra they can go world design, whereas in Dark Souls you've got painted worlds, so you can go extra. You've got teleportations between places, like Dark Souls 3, you could just go straight from the castle and then also I'm in a swamp.
Yeah.
So they're quite flexible when you've got that sort of, but because they've tried to specifically keep it within Ashina, they've limited themselves there, which is why I'm sort of looking forward to see what Elden Ring brings with us, because that's more open. They're trying to make that more open, aren't they?
I think it is open world.
Yeah, and the game world itself looks bloody massive.
Yeah.
But I know from what I've seen, it's only been like the sort of same area, the sort of grassy fields that we've seen. We haven't really seen much after that, have we?
I've not seen anything. I've avoided everything to do with Elden Ring because I just want to go into it like completely blank.
I normally do, but I did check it out as much as I can. I don't know why. I felt like the opposite effect this way. I'm sort of keen to see what it was. But there's a lot of like reused Dark Souls 3 assets I've noticed, which is no bad thing because it still looks pretty, and I want it in my face right now. Also, one last ice level. All right, and then we'll stop talking about ice levels. But I think a special mention needs to go to the Hoth level in the N64 Star Wars. Jojo. Yeah. I've forgotten the name of the bloody game, but the level I can remember where you're in the speeders and you do the cables around the AT-AT walkers.
Yeah.
I mean that's an iconic scene in its own right. So, and it's been done several times, but hey, it's got snow in it, therefore it counts. And I think everyone's got fond memories of that. And then they play the rest of the game and realise, this game's actually not that great. The opening's brilliant. Then the rest of the game happens.
Yeah. Alright, there's many other snow levels I can think of, but nothing of massive note. Not really.
Yeah, honestly, they're not like my favourite areas. As I said, like aforementioned ice physics. I think one other one, because I'm just staring at it on the shelf, is like Dead Space 3. When you get like a mechanic, you need to like stay near fire to stay warm for a bit before you get the ice suit. But that's in Dead Space 3, like the least good of the Dead Space games. So meh. I don't know. Listeners, what's your favourite ice level in any games? Leave a comment on the Instagram or the Facebooks. You know you want it. Shameless plug.
Bit shameless.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you want to add, guys? Otherwise, that's probably us done for a week.
Yeah. Well,
Back to work tomorrow.
hopefully, by the time we record the next one, because I know somebody wanted us to talk about it, but sadly, it's not been out. Like, is it even released yet? I don't know.
Yes,
But,
it is.
it's the new Resident Evil film. I'm massively cautious about it, but I will see it. I don't know if I'll see it at the cinema. I might do it using my totally legitimate nefarious means. But I shall have a look.
Someone I know said they've seen it. I can't remember what they said, but they told me they'd seen it.
Yeah, I've not seen anyone talk about it, so
I
don't know.
I don't think I will see it.
No, I do know. I've seen the poster, and it had a picture of like the Raccoon City Police Department with the tagline "Oh, where it all begins." It's like it doesn't begin at the Raccoon City Police Department. What the fuck are you talking about? that's later in the timeline. What fucking game are you playing? So yeah, I don't know. With that in mind, I'm highly skeptical. As we all know, Resident Evil and the cinematic universe, they just don't get on, do they?
No.
They're not the best of buds.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see, though.
But no. Yep.
Also, Arcane Origins, that takes place at Christmas. That's another one. Put it on the pile.
There you go. I've still not played that.
Have you not?
No.
Have you played the other ones?
Yeah, I played the other three, which are the main three by Rocksteady, but not Origins. I've got Origins, not played it.
Yeah, because that's not developed by the same people, is it?
No, I can't remember who's developed it.
Yeah. Although, I will say this, I think Origins gets an unfair rap.
Yeah.
I mean, people like sort of put it down, but gameplay-wise, it just plays like the other ones.
Yeah.
So, I don't really see the issue. I enjoyed it.
No, I do like the Arkham games, but I don't know, I think I got a bit meh with Night. I think Night's the worst one.
I prefer Origins to Night.
I feel like
No Batmobile.
I think Arkham Asylum feels like a kind of like a Metroidvania in some aspect, a lot of aspects.
It does, because everything's like tighter corridors.
Yeah.
It's not open world. It's like, you go back to like certain wings of the asylum, but now with new upgrades.
Yeah.
So.
I personally feel like I probably prefer Asylum over City, but then I think City has better gameplay, but I probably think Asylum's better overall. I think the story's better.
It's been a while since I've played any of them, but yeah, I know what you're thinking. You know, like Asylum feels like a different genre to City. Like,
both are great.
both are great. I mean, I'd probably argue that City has the better story. Like, it has a sort of twist, or a couple of twists in it, which I won't ruin here.
Yeah,
those who haven't played it.
I think it's just I think for me, it's just the last final bit feels so forced, and I think that's why I feel like Asylum's better.
Well, it caught me by surprise. I didn't see that coming, but then again, I'm not that well versed on like the DC lore as I am the Marvel one.
I don't think you need to be. I think just from a story standpoint, it just felt the last bit they do with Joker felt like oh, let's just force this. Let's just force the end. So you basically fight Joker at the end. And
Well, they did that. They did that with 9. Actually, they did that with Origins as well.
Yeah.
Put the Joker in it. It's like, no, you did the thing. Just piss off. Look, you've got this entire rogues gallery. Let's fight Calendar Man.
That's why I'm like really. I'm looking forward to fucking Calendar Man. That's why I'm looking forward to the Batman, because it's just no Joker, and I'm like, oh, thank fuck.
Well, that we know of.
Yeah.
I bet you anything, even if he's not in the film, they'll do I don't know, Batman Begins does and sort of do a reference calling kind. It's like, there's this person that no one's ever heard of before.
No,
he has a smiley face.
I want it to get to the end, and it just has its post-credit scene is something to do with Mr. Freeze, and I'll just be like, fuck yes, do a dark Mr. Freeze. That's what I want.
No, just put Danny DeVito in it.
No, I want Mr. Freeze, a cool fucking dark Mr. Freeze.
I mean, just in general, just put Danny DeVito in it. It doesn't have to be playing the Penguin. Just
that is true.
That'll keep me happy. And Nick Cage and Bruce Campbell. Put all that with him in it. I'll keep me.
No. I guess on our last bit of snowy stuff, I do want like a cool cinematic version of Mr. Freeze in a Batman film. I really like Mr. Freeze. I think when he's done really well, he's one of my favourite Batman villains. But
So what you're saying is you weren't totally satisfied with Schwarzenegger's betrayal of him?
Yes, that is correct.
He was the best part of that film. Fair, the film was garbage, but he was the best part of it. Yeah. At least he was having fun on set.
He was. Oh yes.
He was having the time of his life. It's like, do you want to make snow puns and get paid millions for it? Yeah, that sounds like no problem to me. Oh yeah, before we wrap up, Brandon was still looking at Ice-type Pokemon. Did we come to a conclusion? Anything for that?
I gave up.
No, fair enough. They met. No. All the ice sites melted and died. The end.
Well, I guess that'll be us. I think we're going to try and maybe release one more before the end of the year, hopefully.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit touch and go over the next couple of weeks, guys, but bear with us. We will have something before the end of the year. Fingers crossed.
It'll probably be like a year reviewer, maybe. Well, not maybe. Yeah. I think so.
As long as you know, like at the end of the podcast, we always say "stay safe," don't we?
Yeah.
We should probably follow our own advice.
Yeah.
Never. I don't follow anyone else's advice. I'm not going to start following my own.
Well, I don't know when the next episode will come out, but stay safe, everyone. Yeah, even you two.
Yeah, we've got to end on a sort of films of the year, game of the year.
Yeah,
thing, haven't we?
It won't be like it will only be what each of us thinks. It won't be like this is our number one. It will just be I like this. This is what I've personally. Chris liked this. This is what Brandon. It will just be that. We're not going to do a whole list.
Well, I'll give you one spoilers, listeners. It's not fucking Spiral.
Well, I'm sure. Well, maybe not. Well, hopefully, Brandon, if he's feeling better, he might be streaming. Chris will be streaming like always.
All right.
I'll make a good attempt.
Yeah. I can't speak right now. I'll links will be in the description, like always. Facebook and Instagram as well. And I guess we've been victory achieved.
Holy shit!
Oh, he's died again.
Oh my gosh, Brandon.
I've been doing so good muting myself. Right, for anyone who doesn't know, throughout this whole episode, the reason why I've been quiet is because I tried to not have a coughing fit. So I've been trying to stay as quiet, like I'll mute myself. But I've just sat here, and then also just out of nowhere, I didn't even have a chance to mute. It just came out.
Brandon, I
I
don't know how to
apologise.
break this to you, but coughing isn't an ice-type Pokemon that's cheating.
Oh, it's poison. Oh yeah. Oh, that's basically what I've got.
Well, hats off to
Next
you.
next week, Brandon will be wheezing. He'll evolve.
Stay safe, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Tatty buys, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye. Ice to see you.
Oh fuck.